Hi everyone, welcome to Tech News Curator. This is Julian Ho. 2023 global electronics industry is facing an adjustment in which the memory industry has been called the hardest part. But with the production cuts of the major memory manufacturers, rumors indicate memory prices are rising. What's going on? The battle for the next generation display technology has yet to be won or lost, but is the Korean industry getting nervous? We have seen Taiwan's panel maker AUO's recent progress in the mass production of micro LEDs, and it has even received attention from the Korean tech media, so we'll keep tracking it for you. Do you still think electric cars are too expensive? Starting from the fourth quarter of this year, there will be a sales war for electric vehicles under $2 million in the Taiwan market. Who are the winners and who are the losers? Tech News Curator is your guide to the key events of the week, organizing the industry news you can't afford to miss in the tech industry. As we look into the memory industry, global memory makers have experienced heavy losses over the past year, and with the implementation of the production reduction strategy, major makers are now tightening production capacity and strictly controlling shipments. As a result, downstream memory module factories are almost unable to snatch up goods, and NAND flash wafers have even been shortened from quarterly quotes to daily quotes. The supply chain laughingly claimed that this kind of price hike can be described as unethical. Supply chain disclosed that they did not know the price until very close to the shipment, like 512 GB contract price stood at $2 US. The spot goods market even shouted to $7 US. The overall market price soars and the amount shrinks at the same time. The original factory has strongly led the market price. If buyers do not cooperate with the price increase, it has become impossible to get the goods. The module industry admitted that in the past 4 years, the memory industry's pricing model is stable and regular, and the contract price is finalized quarterly. But in recent years, the memory industry has taken a sharp turn for the worse. The market price fell from the highest point more than 70%. In anticipation of a price drop, the module manufacturers changed to a month bargaining with the original manufacturers. But it was the original manufacturers collectively cut production. The increase levels for NAND flash since August have been strong, and now prices continue to pull up weekly, and possibly even changes daily. The industry said, now the memory market offer simply do not abide by the rules. There is no regular pricing patterns. The new price only revealed until the shipments. The biggest problem is the original factory shipments tighten the production. In such an atmosphere of price increases, will inevitably push up the price of terminal finished products. But when the terminal demands recover, the price increases can only sustain. The quotation of the original manufacturers has been pushing forward, especially Samsung Electronics. Taking the NAND flash 512 GB wafer, mentioned just now as an example, it was originally expected that the contract price in the fourth quarter would only increase by a single-digit percentage, but the market estimated that the contract price in the fourth quarter would increase by 10-15%. Although the trend of DRAM price increase is relatively moderate, the production reduction strategy of major manufacturers is advancing, and they will further focus their resources on high-value added products, such as HBM, DDR5 specifications, and so on. Although DDR4 is being shipped at a loss at this stage, and the original factory still has inventories, but since there is no more new production capacity, it is expected that there will be a shortage in the second half of 2024, and the shift in supply and output of large memory factories can be expected to bring a new wave of excess to the industry, and the memory industry will have the opportunity to enjoy a bright future in the next 2 or 3 years. Well, in the memory industry, we still see the huge influence of Korean tech companies, and similarly in the display industry, Korean companies dominate with OLED technology, but recently Korean companies seem to be nervous. The reason is that Taiwan's panel maker AUO has begun to more actively lay out micro LED display technology. AUO and other Taiwanese companies accelerated micro LED technology development in recent years. South Korean industry began to worry that Samsung Display or LG Display's current focus on the OLED panel business may lose the initiative of the future generation of panels in the market. According to Korean media reports, for AUO's new 6-inch micro LED COC, chip-on-carrier, chip-mounted on carrier, production line, the South Korean display has difficulties in response to the micro LED market. On October 31, 2023, AUO announced that it has signed a cooperation contract with PlayNitride's subsidiary to build a 6-inch micro LED COC production line in Longtan, Taoyuan, with a total transaction value of $700 million, which is expected to be put into production in the second half of 2025. Since the mass production of one 39-inch micro LED smartwatch in 2023, AUO indicated that in 2024, in addition to the expansion of the mass production of watches, large-size micro LED products will also be introduced, and the mass production of automotive products is expected to start after 2026. In particular, the industry has recently predicted that Apple will use micro LEDs in the Apple Watch before and after 2025, and AUO, with its early mass production experience, is expected to seize the first opportunity. The industry has pointed out that Korean manufacturers have not yet actively promoted the research and development of micro LED panels, but have prioritized the investment in micro OLED panels that will be used in extended reality, XR. On the contrary, according to Nikkei News, AUO is considering closing down its 4.5 generation OLED production line in Singapore in order to focus on micro-LED technology, highlighting its positive attitude towards micro-LED investment. In this context, Samsung Electronics has currently launched micro-LED TV. Its technologies also come from Taiwan manufacturers. Micro-LED components supplied by PlayNitride, low-temperature polycrystalline silicon, LTPS, substrate from AUO, 2017 Samsung, once rumored intended to buy PlayNitride with $150 million, and ultimately 20% of the shareholding investment. Display industry sources said that Taiwan's leading investment in micro-LED is widening the technology gap with the South Korean industry. South Korea has dominated the global market through OLED. Now it might be reversing. It is necessary to actively respond to the future micro-LED market trends. The display panel technology war that has lasted for many years, from traditional LCD to OLED, and now micro-LED, who will die, it is not yet known. Finally, let's talk about the automobile market. When will EVs, which are still considered expensive, become more affordable? Speaking of EV prices, in November 2023, the Taiwan market will be ready for a big battle with cars under $2 million. First up is the domestic brand, Luxgen, which claims to be available for less than $1 million. Of course, we can't forget the global EV leader, Tesla, with its fierce Model Y rear-wheel drive version, which is attacking the $1.8 million range. In the Taiwan market, there is also the Korean Hyundai Motor, also launched a limited-time promotional program in November, focusing on $1.5 million to $1.7 million price range. In addition, Ford, South Korea KIA, etc., are targeting the area under $2 million for electric cars. The industry, including dealers or car manufacturers, believes most optimistic about the trend of $2 million range, mainly because this price range also has a lot of traditional oil vehicles to choose from. The prices are similar. But if you put energy saving and carbon reduction of the medium and long-term trend into consideration, the willingness to switch to an electric car will increase. However, the industry also mentioned that the current subsidy policy in Taiwan is still not powerful enough and hope that the authorities can provide more incentives to promote the sales of electric vehicles in Taiwan. As for the supply chain and domestic brands, they have their own observation perspectives. Taiwan's EV component supply chain has already entered the system of international automobile manufacturers, mainly for exports, of course, hoping to welcome the global EV market as soon as possible, a real explosion. However, if the price continues to reach the sweet spot that is acceptable to customers, there will still be a challenge in the future if Taiwan's domestic brands are able to innovate and launch more attractive EVs, or if they have a clear advantage in terms of price. Thank you for watching this week's Tech News Curator. Tech News Curator will be aired exclusively on the Digitimes YouTube channel every Wednesday at 9:00 a.m. EST. So please like, subscribe, and turn on the little bell to be notified of our updates as soon as they happen. See you next week.